Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. It is Tuesday afternoon, and I thought I need to go and get someone who's calm, composed, and chilled. And it's that man, Jazz from West Ham Irons channel. Go over and subscribe to him. Jazz, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Like we were speaking, sort of offline in the back. Personal level, really busy, really good. Family's doing well. I'm doing okay, mate. West Ham we'll go into is a different story, isn't it? But I hope you're doing good as well, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Do you know what I'm saying? Got a lot of heat the other day, but it is what it is when you do this game. Do you know what I mean? But it is part and parcel. But we will get into it with Moyes and everything else.
Yeah.
What do you make of it Sunday? Because it was awful, Jazz. For you.
I'm not sure if you know, but one of the few times I can remember, I didn't watch the second half. I walked down, started cutting the grass outside. It was that bad.
Yeah.
I've not been interested the way I used to be for a long time. I think my passion when I keep going back to that Chelsea Stamford Bridge game last September, October when Antonio got that lucky goal. We're 1-0 up. It's 60 minutes on the clock. He pulls two attackers off, put two defenders on. We lose 2-1. I lost my rag on the channel. I couldn't take it because it's a London derby. You're winning. You've gone defensive. We've lost the game. And since then, mate, the passion's been nowhere. I mean, I used to have 2 3-season tickets. My son still goes. I go once every 5 weeks, if that. And then with the Fulham game, mate, I didn't watch the second half, mate. I'm like, I can't be doing this, mate. It's gone down pretty low, mate, in terms of what's keeping me ticking along is people like you, the channels. Because of the channels, yeah, more than likely, yeah, we're going to watch the game, we analyze it, see what's going on. But mate, in terms of willingness to go to the match, it's not there. The passion's not there. Even when we score, I don't celebrate like I used to, mate. Something within me last 2 years under David Moyes has died, and I know we won the trophy, mate, but I'm just saying that's how I feel. I'm not really that much up for it, mate, like I used to be.
I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, and if there's one man I do respect, yeah, it's you, Jazz. Yeah, because I've known you for a long time. I've known you since the beginning. I remember watching you on West Ham Fan TV, and I've always respected this man's opinion quite a lot. Yeah, there's only about a handful of people that I respect, and Jazz is definitely one of them. With Moyes, it's such a tricky situation because this could have all been avoided last season. Yeah, but the thing that baffles me, Jazz, is why is Sullivan offering him a contract now? That's the problem. When it should have been either let him go last season or give him a new contract last season. What you saying?
I think if you look at the history of these owners, I might be right in saying that every manager they've installed has been out of a job. I could be wrong, but when you look at Bilic, Kirbishley, Avram Grant, you know, all of them, the Pellegrini and all those guys, and even Moyes, I don't think they weren't working, which means they are proactive. Sorry, they are reactive, not proactive. They don't have a list. They don't scout managers. They don't know who's going to be the next player or manager in, unlike Brighton, Brentford, who say that you can go and take them. We got the next 2-3 lined up. No problem. Potter went, got one even better than him. And that's the way Brentford do it. That's the way Brighton do it. Much smaller clubs with respect than West Ham. So that's one of the key reasons is they're lazy, mate. They don't want to be ambitious and get someone out of a club and pay the money, pay the compensation. You know, who gives a shit? We're West Ham. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world. Who cares what club they're at? Apart from those 5-6 super clubs, we should be there. Unai Emery's a prime fucking example, mate. I wanted that boy with Pochettino. You don't get that window when they tapped him up. They spoke to him. He was in a job. I know his contract was about to come to an end, but they got him in. And we could have said, oh, he ain't going to go Villa. Villa are like West Ham. Why do you know Emery? Because he has turned us down in the past. But that's more to do with the owners, mate. They don't want to work with the owners. They love the club. But, you know, that's the reason, mate. So I'm ambitious enough to think I can get most managers in the world. Our Premier League is the best. It's the richest. It's in London. We've got big stadium. Whether we like the stadium or not is another thing, mate. But it is all those things, mate. It's a reactive, not proactive. Don't want to pay the money to get someone out of a club. Rather wait, dilly-dally, and then see who's out there who hasn't got a job, and we'll pick one of those 3, mate. It's a boring appointment, non-ambitious, mate.
I completely agree with you, mate. literally, when you're speaking it's someone who's on the same wavelength as me, because it is a lazy appointment. Now, if you know that like you're going to offer Moyes a contract now, and I will get to the comments shortly, yeah, then why have you waited so long to offer him a contract now? Right? Do you know what I mean? 'Cause I actually think it shows lack of ambition by offering David Moyes a contract. Like, because do you get what I'm saying? Like, because if you want him to go, then I can understand everyone wanting him to go, and I'll get that. And to a point with me, I think it's the right time to go. But the owner wants him here. Like, and that shows you the ambition of the owner, because the owner is content. Like, I don't know about you, Jazz, but like I just don't think it changed. I think you take the manager out, you bring a new manager in. Yeah, that's all well and good, but the infrastructure and from the top, if that doesn't change, then we're going to have the same problem 18 months, 2 years down the road, and then we'll be getting rid of him.
Yeah, I think what it is, the model of running a club changes every decade or so. So obviously with respect, the owners are pretty old compared to some of the other people, but they instruct someone new, like the Tottenham model. Daniel Levy is not the owner, he's a face. I'm sure he's got a few percentage in there as club ownership, but he's young, he's dynamic, he's ruthless, he's the face. Yeah. But behind there, the real owner is like in his 80s or 90s, in the US, But these guys are just like, they don't know what they're doing. They're from the 70s and 80s, got Birmingham City, couldn't get them into the Commonwealth Games Stadium. Then they saw that maybe get our club there, and they did that. It's like a business property deal, but they're not really West Ham. They don't really have much feelings for West Ham. I mean, having said that, you've seen what the Qataris have done at Man City, what the Saudis will do in Newcastle. Yeah, you don't have to love the club or be from that area, but you get owners who do care. They do know how to run a business and things like that, really. But going back to your question, mate, they've been there and done it before with Avram Grant. He should have. They told the whole world behind his back when he's a job that we're going to sack him in December. They went over to Martin. They went over to Martin O'Neill. Martin O'Neill gentlemanly verbally said, "I don't want to talk about it while he's still in charge, but if you do get rid of him in the right way, then come to me." They started blurting these things out about Martin O'Neill's going to be a new manager at the end of the game, and Martin O'Neill heard and he said, "I don't want to work for people like you. Don't keep your gentlemen. You're not gentlemen when you do business and stuff like that." So they've messed it up there. It's uncertainty in terms of the players, isn't it, as well? Is he going to be here? Is he not going to be here? What's kind of the thrill for David Moyes since January, December? 1 week, I think they were undecisive after those freaky December results. We don't know how we beat all those big teams. They kind of said we're going to have him now, and then I thought, if he does well in the window, he can rescue it. If he gets a striker, one winger, another young player in, starts to play a bit more on the front foot, he's got this in the bag still, and he just stubborn as ever. Waste of a window, mate. Non-existent of a window. And it's just uncertainty. And they've done it. I don't know why they think like that, mate. I don't know why they think like that.
It's a business thing. Like, it's a business. Because let's be honest, Jazz, yeah? When you look at West Ham currently right now, from the outside looking in, we're actually doing all right. Like, as a club, we're doing all right. Like, we're in Europe, we're 8th and all that. Obviously, the style of play is a different question altogether. Don't get me wrong. But from the owner's side of things, and this is where I am so passionate on this, is they don't look long term. It's like it's a short term fix. Like with Moyes, like if you really wanted Moyes, you should have offered him a contract at Christmas and said, right, this is the contract. Are you interested in signing it? Yes or no. If not, say, okay, we're going to leave it there. We'll assess it at the end of the season, and we're going to let you go. Yeah, and for me, this is with the fan divide and everything. Because let's be honest, everyone is at each other's throats. Like I see something today, someone put something up on social media, and my name's all over it, like saying about me and like stuff that I say. Now, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be like that. It's supposed to be the West Ham family, right? It's no fucking West Ham family. It's the biggest myth I've ever heard in my life, right? It's just everyone just seems to be at each other's throats, and I think it will die down when Moyes goes. It will do, yeah. But the problem is that if you want, like, it's what West Ham you want, Jazz. Like, do you want West Ham to be a football club that looks good but doesn't progress anywhere further up the pyramid, or do you want West Ham to be a team that is going up the pyramid and the football needs to improve? It's like, what you saying on that, Jazz, for you?
I think the absolute heavenly top situation to be at, and for my mind to be at rest and my mental state, is that the owners have to leave the club. And when they leave the club, that will appease the people who never wanted to move. These people who don't go to the ground anymore, bit like you, bit other people, they're not going to be happy until Sullivan is gone. And only then we can move on into rebuilding this. For me, you got to go one way or the other. 1 minute you need the money and the willingness and the money to do this, but they haven't got enough money. They're looking for another Krotensky at the moment, right? Which means they're greedy. They don't want to sell it. They give you minute ownership for 200-300 million injection, and then when that money comes into the club, James, a lot of it goes back to repaying their loans again. A little bit comes through to the transfer, but not all of it. But that's the biggest thing for me. A lot of problems. The biggest thing is they go, that mindset's gone. Let's knock this stadium down, rebuild it again, or we do something else, right? But going back to sort of Sullivan and people like that, I forgot your question now, mate. I've got fucking gone on.
It's basically the way I look at this with the owners and all that. It's all about ambition there. Now, planning a short-term sort of appointment, with i.e. someone who's a free agent, so to speak, isn't the right move. Now, if you've known that David Moyes is not in your head and not in your plans for the future, that's Daniel Krotensky, Sullivan, Brady, whoever, they should have been planning long-term. And their long-term appointment should be the one coming in the summer. Now, for me, I've always said this. I think I've had a lot of money on him to be the next West Ham manager, right, back in January, because it's got Sullivan written all over it.
Which one? Sorry, you froze a bit then. Which one?
The ex-Wolves manager, Jazz. Do you remember him?
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Lopetegui, ex-Real Madrid, ex-Seville. It just wouldn't surprise me if it's him. It just really wouldn't. And like when I do look at the way it's all gone this season, people look at Moyes and think Moyes is the cancer of the club. Yeah, you can say that. That's up to you. You take Moyes out, that's fine. But then you've also got to look at what else is happening during that sort of period. Like this January window that's just gone is absolute criminal. It's a criminal offence at that win. Like literally, like you're taking 5 players out of the team. Yeah. You bring in Calvin Phillips and that's it. It just, I don't know about you, but the January window is the one that's also killing us all.
It is. I mean, most windows, mate, we all love football as children. We love transfer windows. We love signing players. And under this ownership, it's always been about them buying players over the manager's head. I think we've seen how Kirbishley went. They sold a couple of players. It might be the previous owners. I can't remember, though. But it's always been a case of that. And they always want to, like you said, they always want to buy players the manager doesn't want. They want a cheaper deal. Sullivan likes the 1 out, 1 in later policy, which means that there's an example where before Ben Rama came in, I think Moyes wanted Eze in at the beginning of the window. And then Sullivan goes, until we sell Filippo Anderson, you can't have him. And Anderson only went with 2 days to go towards the end of the window. Eze had gone. And then on the shop floor, on the shelf was Ben Rama. He didn't want him, and he came in. A bit like Danny Ings, mate. It's a Sullivan signing. You've seen what's happened to him. Cornet, it's got to be that again, treated in a really, really bad way, mate. So you get that all the time. And that goes back to kind of your issue with the owners, mate. They don't understand the fan base. They don't have enough money to run a football club the way it should be. They want to run it like a corner shop, isn't it? We put £10 in, we won £8 back. You know? And then luckily, that Sky gives us so much money that's why the money's been there, to be fair, quite a reasonable amount. A lot of the reason might be they've withheld a lot of the money in the first 6-7 years of there, and only up to that Burnley thing when he all kicked off on the pitch, all the the fans going nuts. He gave Pellegrini all the money he'd been saving for 7 years. He gave Pellegrini all that money in 1-2 windows. It didn't go well. So there you go. They haven't got enough money most of the time. Then they spend too much and it all goes wrong, or they don't spend enough of it. So it's no consistency window to window. And then David Moyes always moaning, saying, I don't like these windows. It's hard to sign in January. He finds it hard to sign in the summer. Then he's laughing sarcastically at the TNT commentators end of December because he got lucky in that month. He got chip on his shoulder. I'm the dog's bollock, stuck up cunt. I know everything. Fuck you lot. That bit came out in him, and they go, "Oh, David, it looks like you're after number 9, isn't it?" 2 days before the window opened, the most negative fucking response you're ever going to get. No, We're not the only one. Everyone's looking for number 9. There's hardly anyone out there. We'll see what we can do, but it's never easy. That's not what fans want to hear, you know? There's people out there, and he just fucking won't sign anyone. He's injured half the team already into the ground. Whoever's playing, they're not right. Now it's beginning to hit their mental state. I mean, it's just shocking, mate. He's boring the pants out of anyone. And it's literally 12, 13 players. That's all he wants to use from January to May. 13 players, mate.
I know. I can't. Listen, there is arguments on the Moyes outside where I do agree with him. Like, first off, like the amount of players he uses. Yeah, they've got a valid point there. He uses the bare minimum. So I can agree with you on that. The issue I have is that people do think we are higher up than we should be. Yeah. I'm going to ask you, Jazz, yeah? West Ham United currently right now. Where should West Ham United be, in your opinion, right now, competing in the Premier League?
Right. With the base squad, with the 3-4 really, really good players we've got, 3, 4, 5 of them, I think, and a manager with, 8, 9 transfer windows underneath him, we should be at minimum 7th. I think we're Man United, which is, we're joint. That's kind of, we're only 2 points behind them, gain more. So in a European qualification spot is where we should be, I think. Comfortably and more consistent in our results, I think. I mean, things like we lost the Europa qualification in the league by Brighton when the form fell off again. Could have got Champions League in that lockdown season, Lingard season. You refused to buy Declan Rice back up. Lingard propelled us into nearly a Champions League spot, mate. So I think a European qualification, I think. But what we can't like or suffer from, mate, is things like the 5-0 defeat at Fulham. And things like that. That should not be happening to someone. We've got players like Alvarez, Kudos, Bowen, Paqueta. People would pay a lot of money for those, and a lot of clubs don't have that kind of money. And all we needed was someone. I was thinking before the show, all we needed was a Chris Wood up front. That's all we needed to get us through to the end of the season. Just someone there who's visible, strong, mobile, hold it up, get 1 goal in 3 or 4.
Yeah.
That is all we needed, mate. And we would have been a good few more points better off than hopefully, what we're going to be. And that's what's going to cost us, mate. So European qualification, mate, I think after winning a tournament and the one thing for the owners that I'm going to stick up for them, I think when you look at the money spent, it's up there as being reasonable, more than reasonable, the money that they have.
Yeah, but have they only spent, though, Jazz, what we expected them to spend from the move? Because when you move and you go to a big old stadium and you get into Europe, we do expect the owners to put their hands in their pockets and say, right, here we go. Now I want you to start spending 150 million a window. Like, it's not a lot, really, considering, that what we've done over the last 4 years. Considering beforehand, we've never done nothing.
There's a couple of things to that. Is a lot of people don't work in finance or accountancy or recognize financially what's going on in the club, and we were told a lie in terms of that. When we move, we're going to get so much money. That was never true, because if you look at the gate receipts at Upton Park and the gate receipts now, there's fuck all difference in terms of football financials. We might be 10 million. We might be 10 million a season better off, 10 to 12 million. A lot of reasons for that. The tickets are too cheap. Our corporate revenue, which Brady's responsible for, is fuck all, mate. Only one side of that ground has got corporate boxes in it, the one where the tunnel where the players come out with. I've done the tour, mate, and that tour only takes you to that stand, because the stands behind the goals and the Billy Bonds where I am, there's fuck all there. There's no corporate rooms, no museum, nothing to show you. It's empty, mate. It's nothing there, mate. And it's corporate revenue. Spurs, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, their foreign fans who come over, the tourists, the amount of money they spend on their tickets and in the shop. The West Ham local support, I'm afraid, they're just not in that income bracket, just being brutally honest out there. And Karen Brady, shockingly, has been unable to just look at Canary Wharf, which is less than a mile away, JP Morgan, HSBC, Citibank, billion-dollar banks that I often work with day to day, they're not being able to get one of them into the boxes, or they take their clients to Arsenal, mate, or Spurs. They're not going to come to West Ham. And just to summarize, the move was a big lie. Lie in terms of we could have rebuilt Upton Park. I did that show, as you know, and those flats at Upton Park are taller than any stand would have been if we stayed. And that was the main reason, saying, oh, the stands are too big. They're going to cover the light coming into the flats. That was a big lie, mate. It's all a lie. The income's just not there, mate, because we don't have a corporate revenue team that sort of Brady can propel into world-class revenue. I mean, Chelsea are. Is it Chelsea? No, actually, Tottenham are the richest team in London. They overtook Chelsea a couple of months ago. And what Tottenham have done, mate, is by luck borrowed at historically low interest rates in history when it was zero. You know, Bank of England was on the floor.
Yeah.
They borrowed at a record low levels, secured the fixed rates, and what they do every month, they just pay the interest. The capital just gets pushed forward every 5-10 years. They're never going to pay. But in the meantime, they've created this money-making machine. You know, I've never been there, but things I've heard is their food's out of the world. They got cheese counter, Indian restaurant in there. The beer fills up from the bottom. So as you put the beer on the table, it comes from the bottom, which means, you get a nice, crisp, cold pint, which we can't even do right at West Ham, mate. They pre-pour the pints, mate, half an hour before the fans going to, because they're not capable of doing it. They're not speedy enough. They put them on a tray and they hand you this plastic glass over, mate. So long answer, but that's the reason, mate.
I tell you what, fucking spot on. Everything you said is exactly what I know is factual. It's actually true. Like what you said about the flats, the build, the move. It was all a load of bollocks, mate. It was all basically the moment Stratford was built for the Olympics, Sullivan pinpointed that as a move for a money-making thing. And this, I know I'm going back in history, but you've got to look at history and you've got to look at now. And this is the problem that I have, Jazz, with obviously certain individuals. People can't accept Upton Park error, and then they can't accept Stratford error. Yeah. And the problem is when we have moved to Stratford now, we're a different West Ham. We're a completely different West Ham. This West Ham,
totally.
Yeah. Right now, this West Ham
it changed after John Lyle was sacked in 89, 90. Tony Gale, they all say that. I was quite young then, but it changed. That was the first stage of change from the time it was created. Because John Lyle, everyone, I think, was the 4th or 5th manager only we'd had in fucking history. That's shocking stat. And after that, once the original families, the Kearns, the Browns began to leave the board, it's just, I don't like Stratford. I go there, I don't like it. It's cold. There's no street vendors, there's no badge sellers, there's no scarf sellers, there's no smell of onions anywhere, mate. We don't even get 100% of the match day revenue. Those food stalls, mate, are run by a separate company to the owners of the stadium, and we're the tenants. Someone else owns the ground and someone else runs the food. It's a fucking mess, mate.
I listen. I couldn't agree with you more, mate. I really couldn't. Like, me and you definitely are on the same wavelength when it comes to them. In regards to this season, Jazz, how do you sort of see it panning out for you? Because obviously each game is getting worse. On Thursday night, we've got an unbeaten side coming to the LS. What you saying?
I've looked at the fixtures before going live with you, mate, and it don't fucking look good, mate. It don't look good, right? The only game I'm looking at, we might be able to get 1 point or 3 point is Luton. And I'll go as far to say we're going to lose every single other game. I'm looking at the fixtures. So I'm thinking 3 points at max till the end of the season. And I'm looking at a very lucky 10th/11th position finish, mate, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we've got 5 games left, mate, and you're looking at Crystal Palace away, no chance. Liverpool at home, no chance. Chelsea away, no way. Then you got the Luton game. Then you got City away, mate. 3 points for me, mate, till the end of the season.
I think it's going to just filter out into nothing. I think what people are going to say is it's just going to filter out. And it has
since January. It has since January, mate. It has.
Yeah. Like it's got to a stage now where it's just. I think everyone's just tired now. Like whether you are Moyes in or Moyes out. Yeah, like it's just everyone just wants. I tell you what, people do want. They want closure. They want. They want to know what's going on. Now, After Thursday night, Jazz, do you think it would be a good thing for the ownership of this club to come out and say that Moyes is leaving at the end of the season and make a statement and say, right, Moyes is going to leave and we're going to look at a new manager, and giving me sort of just go, you know what, the last 5 games, whatever it is, everyone can just go out there. They know what's happening in the summer. Or do you think it's just going to be left until after Manchester City in the final day?
It's a nice idea, mate, but it's too little, too late. I think the bad feeling towards David Moyes, especially from people like me, it's gone to a record level now. And I hate being like that. He's a human being. He's managed our club, and I'm thinking it's got that low. If I ever saw him, I probably wouldn't even go up to him and say hello. It's really bad of me to say that. It's just that, like you said, the owners are reasonably behind a lot of the stuff, but they're never in the open. We're never going to see them anywhere. Any show signing, and you're never going to see them. People like David Moyes, and so I think it's a nice gesture. It's a nice thought, but I think it's just gone too far down the wrong road. He should have gone last summer. Amateurs like me, amateurs like you, running these channels, we thought it's such a great time to just say thank you. You know, good luck to you. Good luck to us. Everyone's positive. We got a new sporting director, new manager, 150 million. Here we go. I mean, Paqueta, we're going to get 85 for him in the summer. Hopefully the club puts another 50, 60 in. We got 150 for the new person coming in. So that's what, 300 million, 300 million, 250, 300 for the new manager in 3 windows. And you've seen what Ang has done at Tottenham in just 1 window or 2. It can happen quickly. Bayern Leverkusen, someone told me, James, were at bottom of their league last season. This time around, they were struggling.
I think it was October 2022. It was. I see it. They were 17th in the October, and obviously they've just won the league. I think I agree. Listen, when I look at the sort of the future, if Moyes does leave, who would you like to see come in for him, Jazz?
I was a big fan of Pochettino last season, and I would go on record to say I still support him. I think it was wrong for him to go to Chelsea. I wouldn't have gone to Chelsea if I was Pochettino. I think it was a wrong move. And I also believe it is tough to get the right manager, because managers and clubs, there's a kind of chemistry. And what that chemistry means is, don't follow the Spurs model where you look at the stats and you go for Conte, you go for Mourinho. They were never going to be a fit, because Tottenham, whether you like Tottenham or not, culturally, football style, is similar to West Ham. Great football, great culture players down the years like Glenn Hoddle, Gaza and all them. You can't take that away from Tottenham. Fabulous players down the years like West Ham. We're literally a few miles away from them, same area, So don't necessarily look for someone with a lot of trophies. I know we want a winner, I get that. I would look at the most important for me, James, is the way they play, the culture. And obviously you don't want them really struggling, but someone mid-table, higher mid-table. Don't forget Ron Greenwood was a coach in the backroom team at Arsenal. He never even managed anyone, and never did John Lyall. So it doesn't really matter. What matters is your football philosophy, your brain. How can you impress in that interview? What are you going to do, mate? How much do you know about West Ham? Are you really proud to be West Ham manager? Do you understand the fan base? Not TalkSport. Do you understand the club that we, and with that, all right, if we win, we win. But for us, it's always been the football, entertainment, the atmosphere. And then if we win, we win. If we don't, we'll go into the next game, really. So for me, Pochettino last season, Emery was another one. I didn't think we were going to get him because of the ambition of the board, but it shows you could have got him if you, tell him the right things. At the moment, mate, to be fair, I don't really watch a lot of European football, so I'm not going to know a lot of those German, Italian names at the moment. In the league, the lazy name that I would interview, not saying that I'd give him the job, and I've been barking on about it in the background for a good few months, is the one on the weekend, Silva. I would interview him. I would definitely interview him. Not saying he's a solution, but he's got Premiership experience. He has gone down and up a couple of times. For me, that's a good experience in someone. You saw the players all around him. He was visibly coaching from the touchline, pointing fingers, putting arm around players. I love that animation between the players and the manager, like Klopp. We see David Moyes as a cold, individual person standing on the touchline, nothing about him that you want to play for him. So it'll just be Silva at the moment. Or I like the Brighton manager, although the kids are telling me, Jazz, he's mad, he's 4-0, you lose 4-0, you win 4-0. But I'm sure I could get that out of him as a coaching person. So Zerbi and Silva are the two that I can say I wouldn't mind. Carrick, obviously the link is there, but obviously we spoke about him saying he's kind of mid-table, lower mid-table at the moment. Yeah.
I think what it is with me, Jazz, because I just want to go through what you just
Gary O'Neill's another one, isn't he? Gary O'Neill, a lot of people like, don't they?
See,
bit early in his life, maybe, early in his career. Yeah.
But West Ham needs someone to go further forward now. Like, not stay where they are. West Ham don't want to stand still. They want to go up to the next level. So certain managers, I don't think are ready for that. I don't think Gary O'Neill's ready for that. Silva, not for me. I think West Ham if West Ham want to go to another level, they have to go and get a slot or go and get someone of stature, someone to go to another club and be a big club like we are and take them from their club. If, like people say, Thomas Frank. Now, Thomas Frank's done a good job at Brentford, right? If you really want these managers, you've got to go and get them. The only thing I'm going to say is something you just said there, right, which is interesting, is that you said about the style. West Ham, like West Ham need to improve on the style, which is true. And if we win, we win. If we don't, then we move on to the next week. That will only wash really for one season. Yeah, because if we go out and spend a lot of money, a hell of a lot of money, people will moan, right, and will come out and say, "Hold on a minute, like we've spent a lot of money, we're going backwards." Right? Do you know what I mean? Because the league,
we've got Sanga Pellegrini, don't we? That's kind of that scared Sullivan off, isn't it, for a long time?
Yeah, and that's the worry with me, is that I don't want West Ham to go backwards. I don't want West Ham to finish 12th, play good football, but finish 12th. I want West Ham to be in the top 10. I think West Ham are a top 10 side, and that's, as a fans, that's our expectation. That's what should be our expectation, really. Like top 10 finish. Like, I don't think we're asking too much, like, for a top 10 finish every year. Now, we're not a top 6 side because we just haven't got the firepower, so to speak, of just consistently going after 150 each window. So
squad,
like for me, it's I understand with the style of play, but I do think you have to look at like expectation also, and the expectation has been raised under David Moyes. Do you know what I'm saying? Jazz, anything else you want to ask or anything on your mind?
Not really. I mean, David Moyes, to be fair, for the people that want David Moyes out, I mean, I was writing down what I don't like about him. It's a long list, mate. It's the transfer window, age of the squad. It's the 8-9 transfer window. So this is the manager who's been here for it's quite a long time, you know, and he's leaving the squad for the new manager, which is going to be in a fairly bad state. You know, you take away 2-3 forwards and 1 CDM, it's not looking good, especially the back four. The coaching team is non-existent, mate. They all left him after. They can't stay with him more than a year because you don't listen to him. The Warburton interview, which I did a show on, Warburton, I got so much respect for Warburton after that YouTube interview. I used to slag him off, like I call him Warburton bread. What's this idiot? I didn't know that he came as an investment banker, a lot of brains, clever shit, made money in the city, and then he's like, I can stay at West Ham, earn the money, and offer no fucking advice. He goes, I can't do that. And then he was the only brave one, because Piercy's shut his fucking mouth. So is Nevin. So is the other lot. But he's the only one, Warburton, who honestly said, he's my good friend, but I just have to say, he's got this way of playing. It's safe. And I don't agree with it, you know, most of the times. And I didn't want the friendship to be tarnished. I left because he doesn't listen to anyone, right? So that's an insight into why the coaching team isn't stable. There's no one of any substance that would motivate you, pick you up. In-game management, mate, as we know, the subs are Tottenham, no subs at all. As an example, people like Paqueta Bowen have come back from other injuries, we mustn't forget. And after 3 games in a row, they're just looking, saying 70 minutes, can we go off? No, mate, you carry on. Mavropanos played on injured. He shouldn't have even started the game. And then he got injured in the game and he carried on with more injuries, another 10, 15 minutes, mate, into the ground. And the other things are nothing to do with David Moyes. It's the stadium. I don't like the stadium. Training ground is shit. I thought a manager would sometimes a bit more substance would have put pressure on the owners to improve the training ground. He's not done it. Yeah. But it's a very old manager, very old owners who they don't care about the next 20, 30 years, like you said. You can never go at the Arabs saying, "Yeah, where'd you get your money from? Fucking black oil, all this shit." They fucking put their money in these Middle Eastern people. I've been watching programs. I've been jealous looking at the Everton ground, mate. I am so jealous, so happy for them, mate. Proper local club. My son went there for the Goodison Park game. Beautiful, because it's yours, James. It doesn't matter how small, how big. They've surely spoken to the fans. They've had input from the fans, and it's yours. It's not rented. It's not leased.
I actually spoke to an Everton fan about 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, when we done a game, when we went up to Goodison Park. I done an opposition preview, and I spoke to him off there about his ground, and he said it looks absolutely mint. Like, it looks really, really good, and like they're really happy with it because it's been built from scratch, sort of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you look at our ground, I'm not gonna keep banging on about it.
There's no heart, mate. It's empty, no heart.
Yeah,
no.
And I see something on Twitter the other day from someone saying that they've decided not to have a museum, West Ham Museum in Stratford now. Like, there ain't no museum.
Right. You know, the auction I done last night, I was saying with Peter. Yeah. One of the things I've won is the actual auction lot book. Yeah. And he's coming in the post, going to take a week. He's in Portugal. In that book, Peter told me that it's listed every single thing that they sold after or during the Upton Park move and what it went for, right? And another thing I won from Peter, I didn't know that West Ham had a museum at Upton Park. It went over my head. I didn't realise that. There was a museum there, and Peter's got the souvenir guide for the museum, what's in it. And then Peter said that these fuckers have sold everything they had. Everything the West Ham Directors Board had that belonged to West Ham history, Upton Park, the fuckers have sold it all for money. And they pretended that their money's gone into the youth development scheme, mate. It's a fucking joke, mate. I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, are you fucking real? I know David Gold had the FA Cup. That's his personal, nothing to do with West Ham. But, mate, they can't even... What are they going to put in the museum? I don't know, mate. Pine Mash? Fuck knows.
They've got nothing in there.
Again, it's a good timing you asked me that. So I only found that out last night that they fucking flogged everything off for money, mate. Everything.
This scum, mate. They really are. No, I'm not.
I mean, we laugh at the plastic seats that go around to this day being sold. I wouldn't fucking mind them having in and out around the ground in the museum. It's history,
like the gates. Do you remember the gates at Upton Park where you used to go in? You used to have the gates, and you used to have like the big fuck off castle. Everything is gone now. Everything is gone. And
those gates are so iconic. You've definitely got pictures outside. I've got my kids who are 5 and 4 standing outside those gates when I first tried to take them and all that, mate. Yeah.
Trust me, it is such a shame. I'm not going to lie. Question for James and Jazz. In your opinion, who is your top 3 targets for the summer? Jazz, who's your top 3 targets for West Ham? Who do West Ham need for you? We need so many.
They need a lot of heart surgery, plastic surgery, mate. Obviously for me, the striker's a strong point. And in my mind, what I would do is I would stick to 4-2-3-1. But what would be ideal for me would be a new striker up front, someone like Solanke, Tony, someone like that, and then I would put Bowen on Kudos on the wings, and I would have a Maddison type number 10 in the middle. Then Paqueta's going to go. So next to Alvarez, I know it's hard out there to try to get a mini Paqueta who can spray it around, but also put his foot in really in the middle, really. So I'm looking for 3 players. I'm looking for a young Antonio, like a Solanke or Tony. Bear in mind, everyone, Tony's 28, so just bear that in mind. And we could have got him from Barry Fry at Peterborough for £2.50, but Sullivan said, fuck off. So that's another story. Number 10 in the middle, Maddison type. In that middle, I'm trying to think who could that be. I don't know if that...
Morgan Gibbs White.
Don't know if that Pereira's that type of play. Pereira impressed a lot of people at the weekend, didn't he, at Fulham? And then you're looking for... like a Paqueta type to hold it in the middle, more defensive than Paqueta. More defensive than the number 10, but just the holding players. That's 3 players. But then on top of that, you're looking at young fullbacks. All 4 you need nearly, basically. It's a complete mess. Johnson looks like he's going. He should have been given more of a run at right back. I've not been happy with him, by the way, but a lot of it's not his fault. He's in and out, left back, right back, centre back cover, play 10 games. We'll see you in another 10. It's not the way to do it. You're looking at It's a lot of players, mate. You're looking at 7 there at least, mate. You know, it's a
I
lot.
said 10. I said 10 the other day.
The other thing I want to say on transfers, again, I just like to say my opinion whether people like it or not. I like Ward-Prowse. He brings a lot to the table. He's a good professional, doesn't get injured, good lad. But whether it was wise to spend 32, 33 million on a 30-year-old, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at the moment, mate. Nothing personal. If we could afford it, I'd love to have a guy and keep him on the bench, in and out, mix it about a bit. It's not his own fault, but what I see game in, game out, James, is he hasn't even got one free kick goal that would have taken him past Beckham or matched it. So that's a shocking stat for him.
Yeah.
And week in, week out, he puts it on a 10 pence, and we fucking haven't got the brains from centre backs or Antonio to get in on the end of it. He puts them right in there, mate. And we just keep missing by 1 inch, 2 inch. Souček, not the greatest of finishers, mate. So just people like that. And then the Fulham bench, mate, I couldn't believe it. They had Jimenez on the bench. They had Adam Traore on the bench. They had Brozier on the bench. We were offered Zaha, mate. I love fucking Zaha as a left. I don't give a shit. He's carried the Palace attack for years on his own. And Moyes said, I don't want him. We wanted to leave Turkey with 2 days.
The only thing I will say that though with Jazz, I just want to say this, because obviously my three targets, first off, would be Leaf Davis at Ipswich Town. I think he's an absolute phenomenal left back. Yeah, I think he's really, really good. I think the sort of player West Ham could have. If Ipswich don't go up this season, West Ham needs to go to Ipswich and get him. I think he's pacey. He can score a goal and all.
You reminded me of Creswell. Remember Creswell came from Ipswich, didn't he? Fullback.
Yeah, he looks very, very good. Ivan Toney for me is the ideal Mikel Antonio replacement.
You've loved him, haven't you? You've loved him for years.
I've called it for years, mate. I was screaming it for years. When I first started this channel, I said we need to go and get Ivan Toney because he's literally the same as Mikel Antonio, right? But I think he's just a better finisher than Antonio. I think we need a left-sided player. Anyone of any note, of any quality could go there. We definitely need a covering defensive midfielder at this club because you take Alvarez out, we have got no covering DM. Now, whoever that is, right, remains to be seen. But I think there's a lot of personnel changes we need, right? And I'm going to go through them with Jazz right now. Jazz, I said it the other day on the afterthought, that I think West Ham need 10 players, right? And this is no joke, right? And I'm going to go through each position and you tell me if you agree or disagree. Now, goalkeeper position. We've got Areola. He's our number one. But I think Fabianski is a sort of person that needs to be replaced now, not later, yeah? I think you need to bring someone in, make weight like understudy, so to speak. Bring him in, take Fabianski out, let him have a year of learning, trying his training with West Ham, and then from then he could be our sort of second choice, and then potentially be our first choice, right? So, goalkeeper, I think goalkeeper's needed. The right back situation, there's 2 players whose contracts are winding down. Benz is winding down. I don't think he signs a new one. I think he walks. Yeah. Sufels is winding down. He wants more money elsewhere. Yeah. Do you agree that we're going to need at least one right back in the summer window for you?
Definitely, mate. We're working with a squad of about 12, 13 at the moment.
Yeah.
We need 3 goalkeepers. Forget the 2. We need 3 good goalkeepers. So I'd keep Fabianski as the 3rd for another year. I don't mind that, but it depends on his contract. If his contract's coming to an end, which I think it is, I wouldn't want to bump him Oggy by 30% for another year. I don't want to do that. But I'm not sure on Areola long term either. I know he's all right. What it is with these goalkeepers, they've got no communication. They're really bad coming out. They're great shot stoppers. Fabianski and Areola, one of the best shot stoppers, but it's just that communication not coming out, catching it. So I'm pretty ambitious with West Ham, as you know, and I kind of pick up all these errors. So yeah, but for now, like you said, we need one goalkeeper at least to mix it up with them. I think. Yeah, we need.
Also
and full backs as well. Yeah.
I think also centre halves, Jazz. Let's go centre halves now. Yeah, we've got Zuma, Aguerd, Mavropanos, and Angelo Ogbonna. I think 3 of them could possibly be out the door. Yeah, I think Zuma's got a year left on his contract. His contract expires next year. Yeah. Right. So what do? Do you give him a new deal, or do you let him go, or do you try and sell him? Yeah, because basically now is the time for the value. Yeah, I think Nathan Aguerd, I think will be gone. I don't think he is Premier League like quality. Maybe if a new manager comes in, that could change, could develop him, maybe. But he's a possible outgoing. Angelo Bonner is a sentimental thing with West Ham fans. You can't get rid of Ange. He's been here, like what I mean. But if you want West Ham to be this top side, Angelo Bonner has done his time at West Ham, and he needs to be let go, and you need to bring a younger player in to develop, to come into the squad. The only one I'd probably keep out of all four of them is Mavropanos. What you saying about the centre halves, Jazz?
Fucking nightmare again, mate. Absolute nightmare. And why these players are still at the club, it's laziness from the owners, laziness from the manager. Oh, let's just keep them. We can't be fucking shit asked to scout anyone better, take a punt on someone. Let's just fucking keep them. So I feel really, really pissed off and let down by Agurd, mate. Really let down by him. I had high hopes for him. I used to have all these fucking Moroccans and Algerians jumping on my channel, giving it the fucking big one. I told them what, and they've all fucked off. I never heard from them.
Mate, I totally agree with that. Oh, it's tickled me. That's fucking lovely.
They didn't know what we're like, innit? I gave it the way it is. They didn't like it. And I'm like, I said, you can have him from Morocco. The guy can't read a game. He can't anticipate. He can't mark anyone. He's on the wrong side all the time. All right, he's got a good left foot. He pings good passes. But every goal we've let in, he's fucking always in the mix, mate. And then, so he's let me down. And like you said, 32, 33 million is a good age. Yeah, he can fuck off to one of the other leagues somewhere outside the Premiership and we get some money back. That's another talking point. We don't get any money for our players, mate. Yeah. I mean, we give them away. Vlasic, 1 or 2 million. Filippo Anderson, the news came out. We only really got 3 million for him in the end. I'm like, fuck you now. So a lot of it's really bad. But I agree with you. Left back, right back, goalkeeper, all the centre. Mavropanos. What I like about Mavropanos is he's a likable chap. He tries. He doesn't hide. He gets clumsy. He's got a lot of things wrong with his game. I'm hoping the new manager coach can get rid of that, but he doesn't hide. I like that. Aged he hides, mate. He didn't want to play after December. He had a cold. He told West Ham he had a cold for 3 weeks. I've never seen a footballer miss 2-3 weeks of football because of a cold and a cough. As soon as that tournament started in Africa, he fucking was off, mate. Yeah, I don't like shit like that. And he does. And look, what would you and me give to be 1 minute on that pitch in the West Ham shirt? He doesn't want to fucking be there, miserable looking face. You can just see, you can read through it. Through it, right? So I agree with all those things, mate. Mavropanos, let's give him another season. Unfair. Let's get good coaching on him and not write him off. And don't forget, at a good club, you always need 4 good centre backs, isn't it? So if he's not going to start next season, Mavropanos, he's not a bad backup for League Cups and all that kind of thing, isn't he? Mate? So totally. And I do like the left foot, right foot combination. I do like that if we can do it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, man. Right, let's go into midfield, Jazz. Right now in midfield, we have obviously got 3 central midfielders really that's on the books at West Ham: Ward-Prowse, Souček, and Edson Alvarez. I think we need another midfielder, of some note. Whether or not it's a top midfielder remains to be seen, but I do think we need another defensive midfielder. What would you say about the midfield?
Well, I've been doing this show. I'm getting more ruthless in my thinking. I would consider selling Ward-Prowse for 15-20 million. I'd get rid of him because I think he came in to set goals up. He has, but I don't think it's been that many to make a huge. Because at Southampton, he used to deliver at least 5 goals and 5 assists. I think something like that, mixed like that. And CDM, I don't think when Alvarez wasn't there, I think between them, Ward-Prowse and Souček, they all struggled really to put their foot on the ball. So Alvarez is one of the best in the league. This is what I used to say in the channel: get 110, 100 million for Rice, but all you need to replace Rice is a Alvarez type who's 20, 30 million. And a CDM, no frills, win the ball, give it back. Win the ball, give it back. You don't need someone to fucking score 10 goals from CDM and all the flicks that Paqueta's doing. I think the crowd's getting pissed off with it now. You don't need anyone to do that. Just do the simple things. And Alvarez understands the back four shit, so he stays really close to them as nearly the sweeper. If you notice, he plays like a sweeper a lot. So we need someone with him who's Souček is not a CDM. He's a box-to-box Gus Payet type. Let's get him on in the last 5th. So all these players are great subs. Ward-Prowse, Antonio, and Souček. They are brilliant people to come on with 10, 15, 20 minutes to go, but they're not good starters week in, week out. Souček, I've seen him live, mate, and I pick on him badly. I rarely see an interception or a tackle or break of a play like Rice used to. Rice carried him for 2-3 years, and you can't afford for him to just get the odd goal in the 95th minute, mate, now and again. It's just doesn't. And Ward-Prowse, apart from the set pieces, is a limited game. So you're carrying two people, Souček and Ward-Prowse, you're carrying him in 90, 100 minutes of play. And if you want to be ambitious, top 6, top 7, you need another Alvarez and then another number 10 for me. So I agree. We do need someone next to Alvarez to help him a bit more. Yeah.
100% agree, mate. Obviously, the Ward-Prowse shout is an interesting one. Like, do you get rid of him? Do you keep him? I think he's done okay this year. I think he's just done okay though. Like, I don't think he's done amazing, but you know.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the whole deal. Is it 4 years? Is it 150 grand a year? I don't know what it is. I'll have to have a look.
It's something mad, yeah. Well, let's go into the attack line because I start off on the left-hand side. The left-hand side, we've got no attackers. Got not one left-sided attacker at the club. Now, I said it the other day, we need two players for that position. Yeah, we need someone who's going to be a prime left winger, and then we need someone who's going to be a covering left winger. I look at the number 10 position. You say Paqueta, you take Paqueta out. You've got to bring someone in there, either a proper number 10, someone who's like top level, or you have to replace it with someone like a Morgan Gibbs-White or someone of that stature. But you need bodies. You need people like you need.
I like the Palace. I like the Palace guy on the left wing, but I don't know if he'll come to West. No, the other one. There's another one, isn't there? Elise. Is it Elise?
Elise, yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them. West Ham want to go and make it statement.
Eze could easily replace Paqueta next to Alvarez in a way, because he keeps the ball, doesn't he? He keeps the ball really, really well, but gets injured a lot. He gets injured a lot. Elise is rapid on the left. So, but then having said that, mate, when you watch Kudus and Bowen live, they are both footed, but they like to play on the right. It's weird. They are predominantly left footed, but they want to play like on the wrong side. I don't know, right? It's a bit weird. And then we've got two left-footed right wingers. It's weird.
And then what it is, you've got obviously Bowen, Kudus. Now, will Kudus go as the number 10 next year? Maybe, but then you still need to have a replacement for him if he's not there. Like, if he's not there for any reason, there has to be replacements for these players. Do you know what I'm saying? And then up front, West Ham need two strikers, mate. West Ham have got not one centre forward who matches what Antonio does. Do you know what I mean? Danny Ings to Mikel Antonio, it's like that far away, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? It's mad. So Dominic Solanke would be a shout. Ivan Toney is the man. Jazz, you've known me a long time. I've been screaming for this geezer for years, like donkey's years. West Ham go and get him. It's a
Tony is no risk.
Yeah,
so that's the good thing. There's no risk with Tony. He plays for England, 1 or 2 caps. You think he's been there fucking all his life? He don't give a shit about pressure. The only thing there's doubts about his personality in the dressing room and off the pitch, whatever he fucking does. But we've had people like the Kenny and Julian Dix. They don't give. They do it on the pitch. Who gives a shit? I don't know.
I honestly do think like about 10 players. Like I really do. I think also the players that are going to be leaving, like Ben Rama's loan will probably be made permanent. Cresswell will probably leave. Like Flynn Downs will like. Do you let Flynn Downs come back and be that sort of player, or do you let him go? Maxwell Cornet will probably leave. Danny Ings will probably go. So I'm reading them off in the top of my head, and I'm naming about 5-6 players who's going to leave before we need to strengthen already. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, I think the thing with Cornet just come to my mind. They don't reckon he's going to pass a medical at any club with what he's got, so we might not be able to get rid of him. I don't know. Might need an insurance payout, and then they kind of pay him to go, a bit like Jack Wilshere and people. I don't know, mate. What's going to happen? I don't know. Do
you think, Jazz? Just to round this up, because we're going to round.
He's a left winger, isn't he?
he's a left winger that never gets on the pitch.
Like Ben Rama is cursed, and it's cursed, mate. Yeah. Don't come to West Ham as a left winger under Moyes. You're not going to get a game.
He just won't be in the crowd. You'd be like us, a fan. What it is with like Maxwell Cornet, do you think in the January window that Maxwell Cornet and Ings were forced to stay here because West Ham couldn't get rid of him? Because obviously Ings is on a lot of dough. Who's really going to pay 125 grand for Danny Ings a week? Like it just ain't going to happen. And then Maxwell Cornet, what you just said there, spot on. I don't think anyone's going to touch him. I really don't, because who's going to pay for a geezer who's got this sort of injury, illness, whatever it is, so to speak? Like no one's going to go near him, mate. Literally nowhere near. What are you saying on that, Jazz?
I think there was definitely interest in Cornet on loan, and I think Everton was sniffing at Danny Ings. I think they were wanted. They were wanted, but due to again not bringing in anyone or the will. I mean, they flew out to see that Sevilla striker, the Moroccan guy they've been chasing for 2-3 windows. Fucking there's every window we're after him. Doesn't happen. And then when Broja went to Fulham on that last day, I was like, what the fuck just happened there? And then they saying, oh, Moyes doesn't rate him anymore since the injury. Like, don't want him. I'm like, all right, that's fine. But that's the kind of thing happening, mate, at the moment with all those transfers. Yeah, it's a bit of laziness to get new people in, so you keep them in. But I think there's definitely interest. I think Creswell was close to going to, I don't know, was it Nottingham Forest or Wolves in the summer?
Wolves.
I think, Wolves, yeah, he was close to going there. Their centre back, I'm not sure about, mate. Max Kilman, I'm not sure about him, mate. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think these are Premiership players that cost a premium, like Ward-Prowse, an example. You got to build up your foreign scouting team, I think, to figure out what's going to happen in that, I think.
Right, Jazz, before we go, final question from me. Right, first, I'm going to make it into one big, long question. Does David Moyes sign a deal, or does he walk away at the end of the season? And if he does walk away at the end of the season, how will you remember his time at West Ham?
I think he's not going to be given a new deal, and the board are going to get what they wanted. The board never wanted to sack him. They never wanted, because they do like him. They got a great relationship with him. So they don't want to sack him. So they're going to get what they wanted, not what the fans wanted. So that's another example of not doing what the fans want, who are the sort of the heart and the whole cogwork of a football club. You know, they don't listen to fans. So that's a big thing. So I think we don't have to be too worried about that. I think they know that if he signs a new agreement, not sure how those season ticket renewals are going to go and things like that. How will I remember him? It's just the way I am, mate. I'm so ambitious for our club. I'm not one of those. You've seen it when people argue in the chats. The ones are like, they're happy if we're above 15th. You got the fans like that. That's fine. You got an opinion. I love people's opinions, but I don't like the fans who kind of think their opinion's better than theirs, all that crap. So there's people out there that, as long as we're 15th every season, they're happy. They don't give a fuck, right? So that's that ambition for me.
Yeah.
My memory of him will be how we didn't push on and kick on with the best player we've had in 20 years, the best squad we've had in 10 years, the most money we've ever spent in our history. We just didn't kick on, and all we needed was a little cherry on the cake, like I keep saying. That's all we needed. You know, the team was full of good players, good money, and it's going to be that. It's going to be, transfers. If only we'd bought, Agerd, 33 million, Cornet was 20 million, mate.
Do you think,
a lot of mistakes, mate.
Yeah. Do you think, though, Jazz, that when he does go, do you think the fan base will unite again and be sort of not as toxic as it is now? Or do you think it's going to take a bit of time for that to sort of go back to where it is? Because I'm going to be honest, I've never seen it this bad. Like, I always say this quite a lot. I've never, even under Big Sam, people say, it was bad under Big Sam. I'm sorry, I've never seen it like this. This is bad, like really bad.
It's hard to compare because I think Twitter wasn't as big as it is now. We don't have as many YouTube channels as we had back then. So you wouldn't have told. And when you go to the game, you'd be surprised, mate. I reckon out of that 60,000 crowd, I reckon there's only about 10% that watch YouTube channels. They know what the fuck's going. The rest of them, they all go all the away games. The people that go in Europe fucking love David Moyes. And that's another fucking point I was thinking. I am pissed off with that away scheme. I don't care if I fuck people off. I think that away scheme is a fucking joke. It's the same people that go to all the finals, all the semi-finals. We haven't got. How are you meant to get the points if it's like that cartel just keeps it for them? I've seen kids fucking 7 years old at the final. How the fuck did that happen? I don't give a shit if he's a kid or it's fucking. Listen, it is not right, mate. And other clubs like my son's got good friends at Man City, Man United. It ain't like that there, mate. So the way this away scheme is now, mate, that cartel is going to pass it down the kid. No one's going to get a chance. You're never going to see a new face in European germs. So those fans love the ones who've been able to go 3 years away on European trips. They're the ones that love David Moyes. I ain't got no fucking memories of that. I don't give a shit. But Moyes will be allowed to resign and hold his head up, and they'll say thank you. You know, that's amicable for both parties. He doesn't get sacked, and then keeps his relationship going with the board. And I'll remember him as a manager who should have kicked on and did even better, because I'm ambitious for our club, because we've seen the state of Chelsea, we've seen the state of Man United. Don't forget, 3 years ago, everyone, Villa wasn't in Europe, Newcastle wasn't in Europe, Arsenal was not in Europe, and we still fucked up the transfer windows largely. When you're going out to the window as the only more or less London club in Europe with reasonable money, Declan Rice, all those people, you fucking still didn't sign people. The funniest thing was when Lampard got hold of Onana ahead of us. Onana signed for fucking Everton instead of David Moyes at West Ham, and he spoke to both of them. How did Lampard sell Everton?
I know, mate.
That just says it all. Even, I mean, he's up and down as a player. I get it. He's not very loyal and things like that. They don't like him up there. But that's not the point. The point is that we have messed up the transfer windows. Yeah, every time there's a window. Listen, we got Kudos. We got Bowen. Interesting thing, Danny Dyer said that Moyes scouted Bowen. So just clarifying that fact, because a lot of people don't know that. And I wasn't sure. But Danny Dyer, live last week, I think, forgot what platform it was. He said that David Moyes is the one. Yeah, he said he scouted Bowen, or he knew about him before he came to West Ham and pushed it through. So,
and the thing is,
done some good things, but could have done a lot more, I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's really, really fair in what you're saying. Like, that was true. I did hear that also, that Danny Dyer turned around and said that he was sort of onto Jared Bowen for a long time. And when we signed Jared Bowen, I was over the moon, because I knew back then that he was going to be a top player, and he has. He's become a top player for us. But that will remain to be seen from now to the end of the season. That man has got his own channel. Yeah, the link is in the chat. Go over and subscribe to him. Right, please do it for me. Yeah, it'll go a long way to help this man out. It's in the bio. It's in the chat. It's everywhere. It's going to be everywhere tonight. Jazz, thank you very much, mate, for coming on.
No problem.
This Tuesday afternoon. It's been a good one. I must admit, enjoyed this one. I'm going to wrap this up now. Subscribe to this channel if you like me. If you don't, I love you. It's fine, right? Because I've had enough of these people keep spouting. So I'm going to say I love all of you West Ham fans out there. Every single one of yous. Fucking all of yous, right? You know what I mean? I say it with my heart. I love yous, right? As simple as that. And I'll be back.
Away tickets game. Fuck off. You're going to get in more trouble now.
Well, there you go. I'll be back tomorrow to do like a mini preview of the Bayer Leverkusen game. I'm dreading it, but the show must go on. Anyway, that's enough from us. Take care. Enjoy your Tuesday afternoon, and I will see you again in the next one. A bush. Level up.